So it's been some time since I posted. Today's March 4th, 2025, Tuesday, and today's going to be my most detailed analysis video. And so we came and we opened, it's a discount gap. I believe discount gap is when it opens lower. So discount gap, um, we came and we opened lower. And before I get into all that, I want it to be mindful of the 15-minute and 5-minute level. So a lot of these, just a sec here, a lot of these 15-minute right there, and so on. These are going to be marked up with a shader box, and I'll have it annotated as well. 5-minute fair value gap right there, um, there as well, and so on and so forth. So keep in mind those levels. And before I continue, daily time frame, we came and took out the sell side liquidity below November and then October of just last year. So that was the draw. And then coming into the 1 minute time frame with all the drawings, boom. So the opening range gap, we came, we opened lower, we came down right here, rejection block came up and filled in the lower quadrant and the consequent encroachment of the opening range gap and the 1 minute fair value gap displacing. This is the first presented fair value gap with the blue box. Okay, so we came down, 1 minute rejection block, came up into this 1 minute inversion fair value gap, displacing and then leaving a fair value gap right there just to then take out. So that's the first presented fair value gap, this one right here. First presented fair value gap gets tapped inside of this 1 minute fair value gap I just showed you guys. And then displacing lower to take out the 2024 sell side for November. And then we respected this 1 minute SIBI. Okay, right there, boom, displacing to the downside, taking out the October 2024 sell side liquidity pool. And if I'm not mistaken, okay, so this is the 15-minute SIBI that I was showing you guys. And so, yeah, so 5-minute SIBI gets tapped right there, 1 minute SIBI displacement, 15-minute SIBI gets traded below. And then we came down into the 2024 sell side for October. And then we rejected higher um, back into this 5-minute SIBI right there. So we came up, okay, and then we kind of just consolidated a little bit. And then we're inside of the range of this 15-minute SIBI right there. So right here, 15-minute SIBI. Okay. And then 1 minute inversion fair value gap in there as well. Coming down, 5 minutes SIBI is acting as the inversion fair value gap. And then also as well, this 1 minute inversion fair value gap right there. Okay. So price respected this 1 minute inversion fair value gap right there. There's another 1 minute inversion fair value gap right there. Okay. So price came up, respected this 1 minute inversion fair value gap, came up, 1 minute fair value gap right there to come up again. And then this is a 5-minute SIBI, so 5-minute inversion fair value gap. And this is a 1 minute inversion fair value gap. The price was dancing around at after it tapped the 1 minute or the first presented fair value gap, coming down to this 1 minute inversion fair value gap, leaving a 1 minute institutional order flow entry drill up higher into the lower quadrant of the opening range gap, and then coming up to the consequent encroachment of the opening range gap, taking out the buy side liquidity right there, low resistance liquidity run. We're dancing around inside the first presented fair value gap and the lower quadrant, or the opening range gap low and the lower quadrant. And then we kind of just ranged a little bit, and then 1 minute fair value gap gets respected, expansion higher. 1 minute first presented fair value gap, the middle of it is respected right there. And the lower quadrant of the opening range gap gets respected to push price higher to fully close the gap right here. And then we came down and inversion fair value gap to come down back into the first presented fair value gap. And there's also like an inversion fair value gap right there. So price came up 1:30 to 2 o'clock opening range, first presented fair value gap right there. Institutional order flow integral higher, inversion fair value gap coming up into the 5-minute SIBI that was prior to the New York Open. Actually, no. Yeah. So 5-minute SIBI prior to New York Open. I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. We came and tapped into that. Okay. And then inversion fair value gap right there. Inversion fair value gap right there. Coming up into the 5-minute SIBI at the beginning of the video. Collapsed. and then essentially price 2 minutes institutional order flow and schedule, displacement into the first presenter for value gap of the day, and then the PM session opening range, first presenter for value gap is used right there, and then inversion for value gap coming up, and then finishing the rest of the day. So just to kind of clarify before I end the video, is that this level kind of coming when price came up, it was into these levels right here. So 5-minute SIBI gets respected, and then boom, collapse, and then first presenter for value gap to push price back up, boom. So that's pretty much it.